based on the retail sales data that tells us rates got to go down because growth, clearly from the consumer's perspective, slowing down.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. You know, the Treasury Secretary, Mr. Bessent, the hedge fund manager, saying that he wanted the 10-year yield. When President Trump talked about interest rates going lower, when was that? A couple of weeks ago. Clarifying those comments, the Treasury Secretary said, no, we didn't mean the Fed. We're not talking about the Fed. We're not interfering with their independence or so-called independence. What we mean is we want the 10-year Treasury yield to go down. And both you and I, Steve, were shaking our heads like, no, you don't want the Treasury yield to go down. And you can understand what he's saying.
This is an absolute rock bottom moment for the legacy media. According to Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan, the Holocaust happened because of genocide on the Nazi regime, which defined totalitarian in the 20th century, allowed free speech. This is a crazy video goes to the Holocaust was caused by free speech.
The mansion since yesterday trying to organize a containment response. Now that you're here, let's lock down that AO. I'll try body cancer coordination.
Far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was...
Listen up. We've got 3 scientists unaccounted for. Last seen in town.
That's our ship.
Locating and extracting them.
I have to disagree with you. Free speech is
You weren't using your brain anyway.
genocide is conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime. Genocidal because they hated minority
I've got to listen to this.
Standing in a country where
Where's the longer? There's got to be, like, this is crazy. Okay, this is a 3-minute one.
And so I think if anyone's angry about it, they don't really agree with it. But to be angry about it, I think actually makes his point. I thought it was actually a pretty historic speech, whether you agree with him or not. I think the valid points he's making to Europe is we are concerned that the true values that we share, the values that bind us together with Europe, are things like free speech and democracy and our shared history in waging to communism and the like. These are the values that we share in common. And in that whole fight against things like censorship and oppression. And when you see the backsliding and you raise that, that's a bit of concern. We can't tell them how to run their countries. He simply expressed on his view of it, which a lot of people frankly share. And I thought he said a lot of things that he said. And honestly, I don't know what he said about it before. A lot of people think it.
Was the huge opposition of the party and
You don't have to agree on some speech. I happen to agree with a lot of what he said, but you don't have to agree with some speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it. You should listen to it and see whether those criticisms are valid. I'm sure the United States has come under wicked criticism on many occasions from many leaders in Europe, and we don't go around temper tantrums about it.
well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
I was really hoping the reason why I didn't want to watch the short clip is I was thinking to myself, there's no way, right? There's no way. This has got to be out of context. This isn't it. But how is it? It's like that kick streamer clip earlier, where it's like, no. Not only is it out of context, but it's even worse.
In a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing
See that one straight ball? Don't let it escape. Bravo's in. One less stealth spider to worry about.
Genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi that has to also be genocidal because of the Jews and their native minorities and the Jews, primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were the only party that governed that country, so that's not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong. Again, I go back to the point of the speech. The point of the speech was basically that there is an erosion of free speech or intolerance or opposing points of view within Europe, and that's of concern because that is eroding. It's not an erosion of your military capabilities. That's not an erosion of your economic standing. That's an erosion of the actual values that transatlantic union talks about. And the market's come a long road. Partners that have worked together now for 80 years to speak frankly to one another in open forum without being offended or upset. And I'm supposed to foreign ministers from multiple countries around the world. And probably didn't like the speech of it, but this is continuing to engage us on all sorts of issues that unite us. So, again, at the end of the day, I think that people give off that is a forum in which we're supposed to be inviting people to do speeches, not basically a chorus where everyone's saying the exact same thing. That's not always going to be the case when it's a collection of democracy where leaders have the right.
So they're criticizing JD's speech because he's advocating for free speech in Europe? That's wow.
And the president to speak their minds in forums such as these.
Mr. Secretary, I'm told that we are not able to.
That's fucking bad. God. Yeah. I bet, yeah, bro, time's up. Oh my god. Jesus. Obviously, not criticizing for that. Sure seems like that. It sure seems like that's what she said. I mean, if that's not what it was, that then it could be something else. But it sure seems like that's what she said. Absolutely. Just imagine those people would have done the U.S. model at one. I don't know. Yeah, bro, we're out of time. That means strange.
I think if anyone's angry about what they don't have to agree with and in that whole world fought against things like censorship and oppression and so forth. That's and you raise that, that's a very powerful threat. We can't talk about
well, the reason why media criticizes free speech
Ray said that thinning a herd is good for the planet. Can't argue with science.
The media wants themselves to be the arbiters of what's true and what's not, and if the population then they can compromise. It's a power grab, really. It's not even ideological. His speech was very unprofessional and left a bad taste. A lot of people lost faith in America after that, and that's a fact. Well, I don't know if I don't know how many other people I speak for, but speaking for myself at least, is that if you lose faith in America because America is advocating for freedom of speech and freedom of expression, then I didn't want your faith to begin with. It's not worth anything. Go far.
His view of it, which a lot of people frankly share, and I thought he said a lot of things in that speech that needed to be said, and honestly, I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. People are a lot you don't have to agree with someone's speech. I have to agree with a lot of things that you don't have to agree with someone's speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it. You should listen to it and see what the criticisms are valid. I agree. The United States has come under limited criticism on many occasions from many people. We don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
He was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that had far-right and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship specifically about the right.
Free speech is not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to be genocidal because they hated Jews and hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people that hated primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were the sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong. Again, I go back to the point of the speech. The point of the speech was basically that there is an erosion in free speech.
Wow. Like, I think you guys learned that one of the big things that, like, Nazi Germany didn't like was, like, people being able to express themselves. I feel like basically everybody knows. Like, if there was anything that you learned about it, it was definitely that. It makes you try to prepare that.
Just like treading dog shit.
Yeah, I think we're trying to becoming a hero. I think that whenever and the emotional manipulation is started, and I think that that's been made clear over and over. And I think that this definitely is going to, I feel like this moment could definitely be like one of those pivotal moments, especially with like media, where like people, like I don't know how, I mean, maybe Elon Musk should hire the mainstream media to figure out physics, because apparently they know something that nobody else in the world does, which is how to divide your credibility. Because somehow they just keep managing to do that. It's amazing. It happens. How do you possibly do it? Wow. They're listeners. I don't know what to say.
Congress has been in session in person for these first 3 weeks that Trump has been in office. So in a lot of cases, that means individual senators and members of the House, they can't get under their districts yet. They've only been able to convene town halls thus far by phone, teletown halls, or in some cases by Zoom. But I wanted to look at this. I don't know if this has been reported elsewhere, at least in aggregate, but I was shocked by these numbers today. We started looking these up today. Look at the numbers they're getting at these town halls. Congressman Jimmy Gomez from California says nearly 10,000 people, more than 9,800 people, called in from his district for his telephone town hall. He called the town hall on the phone, and 9,812 people from his district called in. Wow. Congressman Brendan Boyle from Pennsylvania, he just convened what he called an emergency town hall for his district in Pennsylvania. They have more than 10,000 people calling in. Democrat of Arizona said he had more than 13,000 people come to this town hall in Arizona. Jim Schreier, the Washington State Congresswoman, her office says 14,000 people. 14,000 people are just called into her town hall. Congresswoman Terry Sewell is from Alabama. Alabama, not exactly a bleeding heart blue state, right? Congresswoman Sewell says that when she convened a town hall last night, they had more than 20,000 people on the line from her district. More than 20,000 people in Alabama.
Dive, boom, repeat.
In one congressional district in Alabama. Alabama voted for Trump by like a 35 margin in the election in November. But you know what the largest employer is in Alabama? It's the Redstone Personal at Huntsville, Alabama. And every day, that is where 30 or 40,000 federal employees of various types go to work. Or people whose jobs are funded by the federal government and its appropriation. That's the largest employer in the state of Alabama. You know what the second largest employer is in the state of Alabama? It's the University of Alabama at Birmingham, which, like all large research universities, has just been shot in both proverbial kneecaps. With Trump and Elon Musk, unilaterally asserting with no notice and against the law that research facilities like UAB are about to have their funding dramatically and immediately cut with no warning. And those are like big cuts, like existential cuts for a state like Alabama and its economy. Local news in places like Huntsville, Alabama this week are already reporting on smaller, lower profile cuts. They're already sending local people just really. Some Huntsville Utilities customers have been notified that their accounts have been debited, all due to one of President Trump's executive orders. Huntsville Utilities tells Fox 54 that some customers who receive grant money from the federal government through local community action agencies now need to pay that money back. This is a direct result of President Trump's executive order to rescind federal funding. And although a federal judge did block this order last month, that judge found the Trump administration did not fully follow his order. Funds have been debited, just taking money out of people's accounts, part of their utility bill. Oh, Trump cut off on that money. That's been helping pay your utility bill in Alabama. And so now we're going to start taking all that money back and either do federal. You have to pay money more than you have been, not only for your additional bill, you have to pay back what Trump is no longer allowing to be. And that, Alabama utility customers finding, hundreds of dollars taken out of their account in the middle of winter, right? And I guess it's a small story in the grand scheme of things, given what's going on in our whole country. But for people in Alabama, that's a real and immediate and hugely expensive thing that is very obviously not only Trump's in a state that really supports him. So what's the impact of that, right? I mean, Republicans from Alabama, like Alabama Senator Katie Britt, have started to freak out publicly about what Trump and not least the federal government is doing to her state specifically. Well, Senator Britt was one of the first Republicans to raise concerns at home soon after the Trump administration directed the NIH to slash $4 billion in costs for medical research grantees. Senator Britt, whose state has received more than $518 million in NIH grants just for projects that are currently active there, however, a news outlet that she will press Trump officials to take a, quote, smart, targeted approach to cuts so as to, quote, not hinder life-saving, groundbreaking research at high-achieving institutions like the University of Alabama and Berkeley.
I feel like my old self again, instead of just...
What do you think the odds are that she's right? That they're, that they're going to take a smart, targeted approach because they're trying hard not to hinder life-saving work. What do you think the odds are that she's right about that? Did I mention that 20,000 Alabama residents just spoke to a town hall last night for their Democratic congresswoman for got a better grasp on the stakes here for Alabama. Last night, didn't break this up. Sure, they don't want to actually hear about it. In Kansas, Republicans are now trying to salvage pieces of USAID struck by Donald Trump. It's not they're trying to salvage pieces of USAID and moving those pieces to the agriculture department or someplace else that might survive, since Kansas farmers are taking the hit for millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of those USAID cuts already. North Carolina, Senator Ted Budd has decided to put his fingers in the ears and pretend it's not happening. Well, Senator Ted Budd of North Carolina, the state that includes two of the largest recipients of NIH grants in Duke University and UNC Chapel Hill, said, quote, there's great research being done by all of our institutions. We need to protect them. Quote, I think the White House wants to protect them. Do they? Do you think they want that? I think that's why they just ordered devastating existential level cuts across the board immediately with no warning to all research institutions. It's because they want to protect that great research. You think that's why they did it? Senator Budd actually went so far as to say on the record that he, quote, agrees with Trump's cuts to universities and medical and scientific research. He agrees with it, and he's telling his constituents to agree with his cuts. But, he's also sure wants to protect the universities and research facilities. And like UNC, Duke are going to be fine, right? And all the other 40 states. I get that kind of funding that provides, I don't know, a third foundation for his state's economy, he's just told his constituents he agrees with these cuts that are likely to put thousands of people out of work in North Carolina and destroy the foundation of that state's economy. He says he agrees with those cuts, but also, probably it's going to be fine. After all, they're good people. I'm sure their hearts are in the right place. Imagine being a Republican senator or member of Congress and trying to stir that Cybertruck horse hockey to your constituents. I'm sure it will be fine. Just good people. This is only Democratic members of Congress and Democratic senators who are holding these huge town halls. I wonder why Republicans don't talk to their constituents right now. I mean, and I gotta say, it's not that talking to the constituents has been an easy thing for Democrats in these past 3 weeks. I mean, the Democrats are getting pushed by their constituents too. They're getting pushed to do as much as possible.
Greg, thank you so much. Praying for those hostages to be released. Not only does President Trump want to put an end to the war in the Middle East, but he's also focused on Ukraine. The Trump team is heading to Saudi Arabia to meet with Russian and Ukrainian negotiators on ending the war. Here's what National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is expecting.
Number one, it has to be a permanent end to the war, not a temporary end to the war. Number two, this can't be ended on the battlefield. Number three, I talked about how the structure of our aid has to change. And then number four, we're talking about economic integration going forward as the best arbiter of peace. And in terms of long-term military security guarantees, those have to be European-led.
Meanwhile, the far-left media is trying to insinuate that Ukraine won't have an equal seat at the negotiating table. Watch this exchange between NBC and the Ukrainian president.
Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decision between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never. We are thankful for all the support, unity between USA, in USA, around Ukraine support, bipartisan unity, bipartisan support. We are thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us.
I mean, we're right now, we're taking a listen. The world is on edge. We don't know what's going to happen with Ukraine. We don't know the next step for Vladimir Putin. But what I think is really interesting, Griff, and I want to ask you this, get your opinion on this as a foreign correspondent, is the fact that President Trump is going to be holding those meetings, those negotiations in Saudi Arabia, almost as an affront to Iran, bringing the players in.
Donald Trump is determined to end the war in Ukraine, and he will do it with or without the support of Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky.
For your conversation with President Putin, what do you think he wants? I think he wants to stop fighting. I see that. We spoke long and hard. Steve Witkoff was with us for a very extended period, like about 3 hours. I think he wants to stop fighting.
Security Chief
They have a big, powerful
introduce
team.
you sooner, but
And,
just the same.
they defeated
I'm
Hitler,
the
they
man
defeated
Center.
Napoleon. They've been fighting a long time. They've done it
Everyone
before.
else is.
But I think he'd like to stop fighting.
We need to get the situation under control ASAP.
I think he wants to stop. That was my question to him. Because if he's going to go on, that would have been a big problem for us. And that would have caused me a big problem. You just can't let that happen. I think he wants to end it, and they're going to end it fast. Both of them. And Zelensky wants to end it too.
But Trump's close relationship with Putin and Russia is going down well with Zelensky, standing against Trump's involvement in peace talks during an interview on U.S. television.
President Trump said this week he did not say yes when he was asked if he sees Ukraine as an equal member in the peace process. He did say later that Ukraine would have a seat at the table. Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have a seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decision between the United States and Russia. Never. And our people is not, and it's our human losses. We
Last
are
thing you need in
thankful
combat
for
is
all the
uncertainty.
support, unity
Here
between
I am
USA, in USA, around Ukraine support, bipartisan support. We're thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us.
Zelensky doubled down on this in Munich, where he said he wasn't happy with the situation.
How did that sit with you?
Oh, I said that.
First with Putin and then with you.
Oh, I'm not happy at. Yes, but I think that express him just meeting working with Putin and then and that things I share with the time. That's all we have is the common view. And I said also that the team also very important for us. We are in Europe, and we see our future only like a member.
He also confirmed that he's received no invitation
Your worst.
to discuss the issue.
I'm ranger trained and try pretty much anything.
That
Spend long enough in spec ops, you'll learn a million ways to use these.
I didn't see any patients or voice from some other inputs, but anyway, we it's that national, and it is security advisor, and so it's something very convenient to speak in speak, and this format, if you do any us and our communication partners. As I remember, about
He also underlined the scared of Trump.
Intelligence reported President Trump was virtually becoming independent and agreeing to force because he's afraid of Trump. Did you tell him that?
yes. I told Trump that Putin afraid of him. Yes, and he heard me. And now Putin knows.
But despite the cracks starting to appear between the US and Ukraine, Trump has confirmed aid will continue, but it will be secured against resources.
So we're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by, they have raw earth and they have oil and gas and they have a lot of other things. And we're asking for security on our money. They've agreed to it. Ukraine has agreed to it. Then we want it secured. And it's going to be secured. Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go because we're not going to let the other happen.
And following their fruitful conversation, Russian leader Vladimir Putin is confident Trump will restore peace in the region.
Трамп с его характером, с его настойчивостью наведет порядок довольно быстро. И все они, вот увидите, это произойдет быстро, скоро. Все они станут у ноги хозяина и будут нежно помахивать хвостиком. Все это станет на свои места.
Trump's conversation with Putin comes after Vice President JD.Vance made an historical speech warning about the future of Europe at the Munich Security Conference.
No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants. But you know how they did vote for him? They didn't let they voted for president. They agree or disagree, they voted for him.
serenaded her in a very sexual song back when she was 12 years old. How old he was during this is not clear, although given that he was in middle school, we can guess he was between 11 and 13 or 14. But keep in mind, she provided no proof, so take this story with a pinch of salt. On top of that, if this did happen, it was when he himself was a literal child, so I personally wouldn't read into it too much. Whatever the case, the drama continued after. While things were mostly quiet on YouTube for the time being, TikTok was still rife with internet sleuths digging into Nova's past.
So, what do you think we can expect to see moving forward? I mean, he's right about this.
Yo, yo, yo! It's your boy! We're coming through with a Reddit video.
Oh, God. You can do it. You can do it, Stuart King. You can get through this. You can get through the cringe. You can do it. Oh, why do I do this to myself?
Oh, we love the Reddit. Honestly, not even my Reddit anymore. It's We Hate KSI page.
So he's saying that his KSI Reddit isn't even a KSI Reddit anymore. It's just that I hate KSI Reddit. But there's no self-awareness to think, why does everybody who watch me hate me? But you know what? I want to point something else out. He's got the Prime bottle, all right? He's got the Prime bottle because he's got to push it in every video, just like Logan Bald does. But I noticed something that I'm sure you didn't, because you are not the greatest journalist in the world. What he does is never takes a sip. He never takes a sip. He brings it close, and then it cuts. There's a cut in the edit. Brings it close, cuts in the edit. Watch this. Watch very carefully. Okay, he's got it there. Keeps just off the cap. But never drinking. Watch. Just watch. Just pay attention to the bottle and his mouth. Watch.
Yo, yo, yo! It's your boy! We're coming through with a Reddit video. Oh, we love the Reddit.
Cut. Right? It was about to hit his lips. Cut. Let's go through slow-mo. Using the most advanced video technology available to mankind. Watch this.
Oh, we love the Reddit.
Alright, so let's pretend to take a step frame by frame. Let's get it closer and closer. But before we can actually get to his mouth. And you know what? Oh, he's not attempting to take a sip. Like he's not actually planning on taking a sip. It's not, oh, he must have taken a sip, but they did a jump cut to, for the people with ADD. No. When you're drinking, when you're about to take a sip of something, are you bringing the bottle like this to your mouth? No. That's how we drink. Right? Not zoinks. Look at this. Fakes to bring it. Oh, and then cut. Watch. Fakes to bring it. Cut. Hey, editor. I'm going to bring it close to my mouth. Cut, and I'm taking it away from my mouth. That way they'll think, between the edit, I actually drank this piss. Right? Look at that. Look at that. Never drank anything.
being reported today that Washington, D.C. is in crisis as home prices have plunged $540,000 since the start of this year. Unemployment rates are skyrocketing, and Google Trends searches in the District of Columbia for criminal defense attorneys are skyrocketing to levels you really have to question. But all of that aside, keep this.
Okay, guys, we're boiling some chicken.
Let's turn these and that into some edible food here.
First of all, he's a great guy. He was then really a supporter, or not a supporter. He was, some semi-neutral kind of a guy, not a political person, very smart, very his person, and which I like. I'm a big believer, and I keep points of it. It's a good thing.
President Donald Trump might be a fan of Elon Musk's intelligence and IQ, but it turns out that some Republican lawmakers are starting to panic about Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration, and they're responding to their constituents who are writing in to share their concerns about Elon Musk and the seemingly unmitigated power it appears he has in the Trump administration. So let's get into the details. Reporters over at the Bulwark, and I should note, they do not like Trump over there, so I would typically take their reporting on Trump with a grain of salt, or I would look for something to kind of balance it out. But to be fair to them, they did obtain the actual letters that Republican members of Congress sent to their constituents who had written it to them to share their concerns about Elon Musk. So let's get to some of the Republicans and what they are saying in response to their constituents. Starting with Representative Paul Rubin, he's a Republican from Virginia. He wrote back to his constituents, I share your concerns regarding potential conflicts of interest and overreach. Protecting the personal information of Americans is a fundamental responsibility, and any breach of privacy is alarming. He continues, the prospect of private individuals or companies having unfettered access to sensitive data raises critical questions about accountability, oversight, and safeguarding of our citizens' rights. So clearly, a constituent wrote in to his office to complain or at least express concern over Elon Musk's access to our private information for the Treasury Department. And this is what Representative Whitman wrote back. So, look, I just think it's interesting how privately or, quietly they try to calm or ease the nerves of their constituents, but they'll never say anything publicly about it. Like, I haven't heard anything from Congressman Whitman about how he's concerned about Elon Musk accessing our private personal data with the Treasury Department.
Yeah, so I'll tell you guys in a minute if and how public officers want action on Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And by the way, Elon Musk just gave a super weird, rambling speech in the Oval Office for Donald Trump, trying to justify Doge. And so, if he's trying to justify Doge, he might be a little worried about his own popularity or wanting to just get voters. So those are also rumors that could all just go for stories.
So, I should also note that Whitman's district is obviously the state of Virginia, as I mentioned earlier, and Virginia is going to have a lot of federal workers. His district alone has around 20,000 federal employees, and so he might be feeling more pressure compared to other GOP lawmakers in regards to Elon
So, but now Trump is not going to because Trump thinks this is the main question. Trump thinks there's no end to how much money the person does stuff. Sacrifice programs that go straight to them and are super popular. So I can give $4 trillion of grants for my buddies that actually, money for the government, for the campaign, recently 8,000 other ways to media company on the stock market, meme coins, all the different scams that I can do. So we're going to find out if the independents find out, if MAGA finds out at some point that they're getting robbed. So now I'm curious, which right-wing media lies to you and pretends that tax cuts are for the average guy as it gets funneled to the rich? The ones with the millionaire host. For sure. But you're going to be wrong. It's going to be stoppable. I don't know. Now, is the internet now open enough that people are checking out other shows so they actually get real information? Because I know they stopped believing mainstream media a long time ago, and I get it, because mainstream media burned every piece of trust they had by defending these corrupt politicians nonstop. But I'm still curious to see. On Gaza, I have some hope. On this,
Alright guys, we got the chicken Alfredo right here. Very good. Took me like 40 minutes to make all this. It's finally done. Ooh, look at that.
I have less hope. Is MAGA one day going to wake up and go, oh, Trump is also a politician?
And I don't even know, honestly, James, so I hear what you're saying, because I do think that there are a lot of people who voted for Trump, part of Trump's base, who would hate this. And they might actually protest it aggressively. I don't know if Trump cares. And at this point, it appears that he's gung-ho on increasing his own, financial opportunities, lowering his own taxes. Do you think what he's trying to do in Gaza isn't something that's going to lead to a financial benefit for himself?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But that's the thing in Gaza is still fanciful. That war on the face of it ethnically cleanse 2 million people, but they're not going to object at all. It's not going to create any conflict. And then he's such a sucker. Does he believe in that? Yeah, I was really going to give the Gaza to us so that Trump can build up it. Maybe they'll give Trump a Kushner sub-portion. So that he'll get rich that way. So, guys, the bottom line is, I can see, yeah, that's right. I can see MAGA getting upset, maybe moving our position on Gaza because we're directing so much money to a foreign government, and that affects American folks. On this, you're right, even if they notice and they get angry, we will not be able to stop this. Because what's the one piece of major legislation that Trump passed last time around? Access for the rich corporation.
Yeah.
So and I told you in the lead up to the election a million times. It's if you elect Trump, a couple trillion. Now this is not the robbery, but it's a different robbery. But a couple of $1 trillion out of fair money now, at least $4 trillion, are going to go to the very richest people in the country. It's going to come out of your pocket. So this train is unstoppable. And remember, almost everyone in Congress actually secretly loves this drama.
Absolutely. Okay. I don't believe for a second that the majority of Democrats are against this. I'm just keeping it real. Currently, parents get a tax credit of up to $2,100 for child expenses. The House Republican plan includes the elimination of that break entirely. The cut is estimated to save $55 million over a decade. So, we're going to force you to have kids if you accidentally get pregnant. We're really worried about the birth rate. Also, we're not even going to help you in terms of a tax benefit if you do decide to have children. I mean,
this video explores how the long-standing transatlantic alliance between the United States and the European Union has been shaken by tariffs in recent years. How Donald Trump's America First tariff moves, starting with Canada and Mexico and extending to 50 have created a storm in the global economy, and how a single announcement may ultimately shape global trade. In the first part, we will see to what extent the trade disputes and mutual accusations between the EU and the US threaten the integrity of the Western world.
Including the imposition of tariffs. Now, it looks good attention to focus on the cases of particularly around the Donbass region, one of the two Ukrainian officers that make up the Donbass.
Russia's government is currently battled for the Donbass. Russian President Vladimir Putin is being dragged into a stalemate from which he can no longer escape after nearly 3 years of war. His dream of occupying Donbass and his efforts to hold on to the Crimean Peninsula are testing Vladimir Putin's decades of power. Putin now has to show Russian soldiers and citizens that this war is worthwhile. This is because the Russian army has suffered more than 700,000 casualties and wasted billions of dollars. Putin has so far been unable to show his own people anything tangible in return for all these resources. Normally, Russia finds it difficult to trust Putin on the war issue, especially now that United States President Donald Trump has come to power. Vladimir Putin realizes that he is even more desperate. It is not enough for Putin that Russia is supplying North Korea with troops and military equipment. This is because Donald Trump has a peace plan for Ukraine. Trump has recently proposed a period of a few months to end this war.
President Putin wants peace. President Zelensky wants peace. I don't want peace.
During this period, Putin seems to have two options. The first is to accept any peace proposal. The second is for Putin to continue with this pointless war while the United States continues to support Kiev militarily and financially in exchange for Ukrainian natural resources. The first option seems more advantageous for Putin.
Moscow has reported 2 drone strikes on oil refineries in southern Russia. They happened in the Krasnodar region.
This is the headline statement of the report that was published by King's College London, which is a pretty prestigious university in the UK. They gathered a panel of like 25 academics, researchers, and policy professionals who unanimously agreed that world inequality could confront society in this case of a decade. If you haven't actually been paying attention to inequality statistics, which most people don't, I just want to show you some headline stats. So in 2024,